welcome to the special edition of Business Incorporated. I am boosting Amafai. All eyes now on Nigeria's central bank as its monetary policy committee is due to announce its interest rate decision in a short while. The monetary policy committee meeting, which began in Abuja on Thursday, is the first in the new year 2020. The MPC at its last meeting left the benchmark interest rate unchanged at 13.5%. Many analysts expect the rate will remain unchanged today. Here at Channels Television, we have a panel of discussants on this decision day. Central Bank Chief Godwin Emefiele is expected to brief the press by about 2:30. Let's take a look at what's making the market headlines around the world ahead of Nigeria's central bank rate decision. The stock market is heading northwards about 0.37% intraday. The GSE in South Africa was up also by 0.5%. In Egypt, the blue chip index EGX30 is closed for the weekend, but edged down 0.17% on Thursday, with Commercial International Bank shedding 1% and tobacco monopoly Eastern Company losing 1.7%. Markets in the Middle East started the weekend on Thursday and so were closed for Friday. The major markets within the GCC ended lower on Thursday, tracking weakness in global shares on oil prices at the spread of a new coronavirus in China soured sentiments. Saudi Arabia's Tadawul benchmark index fell 0.5%. The Qatar benchmark was down 0.53%. In Dubai, the DFM was also down 0.38%. However, the Abu Dhabi index gained 0.2%, supported by almost 1% rise in the first Abu Dhabi bank shares. Europe is in session as we speak, so the markets opened higher early today, looking to break a 4-day losing streak after the World Health Organization said the deadly Chinese coronavirus was not a global emergency, at least not yet. Investors are also digesting the European Central Bank's launch of a major policy review on Thursday, which will assess the calculation and the feasibility of the central bank's key inflation target and methods deployed to achieve it. So let's bring in my colleague of DWTV, standing by for Channels Television at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, Conrad Bilson, to take us through this Friday trading day. Good afternoon, Conrad. It's good to see you. It's the day after the ECB left rates unchanged. The PMI number also gave a clue today about how the direction of the German economy is going. How did all of this pace into the markets, into the German DAX this Friday?
Good afternoon, Bosun, and hi to everyone watching in Nigeria. Well, Christine Lagarde yesterday, she said that the downside risk for the economy in the euro area has been reduced a tiny little bit. There's a little glimpse of hope, and this is more or less really reflected in the data which was reported by the Market Institute this morning. This data is collected from thousands of purchasing managers in the euro area and of course also from purchasing managers here in Germany. Now the indexes or the indices, the purchasing managers indices that the Market Institute has calculated have risen, and particularly, of course, important is the index for the manufacturing for the manufacturing sector, because, of course, the manufacturing sector has been so badly performed over the last year. And I can tell you, both the index for the euro area and the index for Germany remain below 50, which is a bit of the magic mark. Everything below 50 indicates a contraction. But within this negative territory, both indexes are up, and that is perceived on the markets as positive news, a positive indicator from the economy. And look at what the German DAX, our stock index here, has done today so far. It jumped up 1.5% this morning, and this is where the index is trading right now.
Yes, a very interesting day, Conrad, because of this, of course, again, a de-easing of tensions over the coronavirus in China by the World Health Organization says it's not yet a global pandemic. So that's easing concerns over the last few days. But let's talk about Intel in corporate news. Intel has earnings report. What inspiration are we getting from this computer chip maker, in particular for the company and for the industry? What does it signal?
Well, Intel is signaling that 2020 will be a turnaround year for this chip maker, and people on the markets say this is hope for the whole sector. What Intel has said is after a prolonged slowdown, the forecast for 2020 revenue and profit growth is much better than what analysts had anticipated up until now, especially demand from cloud computing service is really high. Sales in this department during the fourth quarter of 2019 were up 48% compared to the fourth quarter of 2018. Now, this is not only good news for Intel and not only good news for the chip sector, it's good news for the whole economy because it means that at least there are a few companies willing to spend. Of course, we're talking high tech. Of course, we're talking future technologies, things like cloud computing, things like 5G, of course. But this is, of course, one of the big drivers for economic growth, and that's also contributing to the overall positive mood here in Frankfurt at the end of this trading week.
Is the mood in Frankfurt positive over Bayer fighting huge litigation cases in the U.S. courts? Is there a silver lining here for this German company when it comes to those cases he's facing on U.S. soil?
Yes, factor number 3 contributing to a positive mood here on the Frankfurt trading floor is an increase of the shares in Bayer. And I have to tell you, I'm only able to give you a report about rumors. I don't have real facts, but the rumors are being reported by more and more media outlets. And they say that Bayer is about to come to a settlement with the plaintiffs in America in those glyphosate or Roundup cases. Those are the cases where, you know, this weed killer produced by Bayer is said to have caused cancer. And we're talking about billion-dollar litigation cases. Now the reports are getting more and more. There are more reports out that Bayer is willing and about to sign some sort of settlement with the plaintiffs, which would be, if you talk to analysts, the only way for Bayer to get out there in the courtroom. This would become even higher and more expensive for the company. So a settlement would really be considered good news.
Interesting. Conrad Wilson, enjoy your weekend. It's been a very busy week from Davos and all of that. Thank you so much. Let's keep it until next week.